could be awkward for Nick Hamilton. And that's Dobelov.
That's at the
on
chicane.
Because of the chicane, yes.
Yeah, Mikey Doble has gone around. The reason it could be a worry for Hamilton is that flapping bodywork might be a black and orange flag to get him into the pit lane. Mikey Doble has gone round. Whether he fell or whether he was pushed, we'll come back to. Hamilton has got more damage on the front as well as the back of his car. On board with Doble.
Just got wide on the exit of the chicane, dropped that right rear wheel into the wet. You'll see it coming in. Got an oversteer already, actually, before he even got to the outside of the circuit. Fortunately, the car just gently nudged into the tyres, and he should be able to continue. Shedden might be able to get all the way around the outside. He's trying to go around the outside here, but the Smiley's too experienced to allow that one to happen. Oh, no, they've touched.
Smiley hit the curb, came across the front of Shedden. Smiley off the road. He just clipped the curb, didn't he, going into Clairvaux. It unsettled him and he put him across the front.
You read that perfectly, David. It was that clipping the curb that just moved him across and into the front of Shedden's car. Smiley will clip the curb. That will bounce him across. It rather than bounce him off, it slowed him up, didn't it? It slowed him up, and that's what meant that Shedden went into the back of him.
Here it is from another angle as the cars go to Clairvaux. Smiley just touches the curb. It did slightly move him across the front of Shedden, but either way, sad to say, out of the race. Hayden Moffat has the advantage. Look at Ash Sutton on the outside line already making progress. Moffat and Ingram go toe-to-toe. Ingram right round the outside. There's contact. He's sideways. Can he hang on to a big slide? Yes, he can. Through on the inside line goes Moffat. Rainford up to second. And the save of the day is Tom Ingram. He's down to third, but that could have been a whole lot worse. He now, upholding Restart Racing's honour, is on the back of the Napa Racing UK Ford of Rowbottom. He's almost alongside the Ford of Rowbottom. But off the road goes Camish. Is that way wide? Dan tries to hang on to it. He's back across the road and bang, there's big contact. De Leon's involved, Smiley's involved, Rainford's off, Osborne's off. Camish's car is in the middle of the road and we're going to end up with a safety car. De Leon is out, Smiley is out, and Camish, I'm afraid to say, is in the middle of the racetrack. We're going to end up with the race being neutralised. There's debris on the road and we've got 3 parked cars. There are 2 of them. I'd like to have another look at how Dan ended up on the grass though.
Yeah, I think he just got a little nudge as they were turning into the complex. That's the end of the accident. It all starts at the way into the complex. This is another shot where he's coming back across the grass. It's earlier than that we need to see when they come into the left-hander.
So there is Dan Camish's car, brakes with a little bit of flame.
A little bit of a
tickling.
brake fire from the grass, probably. Hopefully that won't develop into anything else.
Daryl De Leon there is getting out of the car. He was the one harpooned by Dan Camish, and he's the one with the attention at the minute.
On board with Camish, he gets a touch there, and literally he has to bury the throttle to save the slide, and then he comes back across the road.
Some very lucky drivers did squeeze through, and some very unlucky drivers were the innocent victims. Daryl De Leon took a big whack, large or small, but then you've got to get those 3 cars out of the way, and there's quite a bit of debris to clear off the racetrack as well.
Yeah, it's going to take a little while. That was the little touch just from Rainford. I mean, and you see, Dan actually, in order not to spin the car, he accelerates just like Ingram did at the first corner, just to straighten.
He's got Sutton right up behind him. Now Ingram thinks about a move heading up to the hairpin, but Sutton wants to make the move on Ingram, tries to get the switch back, but there's contact between Sutton and Shedden. Shedden's turned round. Sutton leads at the end of the lap. What a move! Wow. He goes from third to first, and there was contact with Gordon Shedden.
These first few laps, but this is Ash Sutton's chance, and turned round in the background is Charles Rainford.
And a driving standards flag for Ash Sutton as well, so Rainford on the hard tyre.
Watch Sutton. Dives up the inside there, gets tagged by Shedden, because Shedden doesn't expect him to come, and somehow it just works out that he comes out in front.
But does he have a charmed life, or what? I mean, there's contact, and it's Shedden that came off worse. That was Rainford getting turned around. Ran Tony's rallycross days through his Dan Marks Racing, and now Senna looking for a podium here. He's on the back of Moffat, and they run to the complex. Once again, Moffat with a big dive up the inside, makes contact with Moffat, who's all crossed up. He's on the grass, and that was down to Proctor. That was contact, and Moffat gets back towards the circuit, hemorrhaging places. And now Tom Ingram is under attack from Shedden. Look, as he also tries to attack Senna Proctor, but that one was on Senna.
Yeah, that was a little bit too late. And, it's a dive, but he doesn't get alongside. Look, he taps the rear quarter of Moffat. So, but 50.6, that is the fastest lap we've seen today. great shot going through that chicane.
Whoa.
But look how high Proctor's car goes by hitting that curb. I think we...
Mikey Doble then ending the session 8th quickest, and a big snap coming out of the chicane. Please don't hit anything, Mikey. Around he goes, and all of that after the checkered flag.
Yeah, well, the last thing the team need is any kind of damage. As you can imagine, they're hugely limited on spare parts, but the car already looked a little bit oversteery, didn't it, as they came through McIntyre's, and then he got wide onto the gravel with the loaded rear, and round it went on him very quickly. So yeah, a little bit of a, I'd call that spiky handling. But yeah, once he got that wheel over the curb and in the gravel, it was not going to stop.
This is Ash Sutton at the chicane, where he gets a little bit crossed up, and again way onto two wheels and way off the road, and somewhere in the dust storm is Ash Sutton. Wow,
that was huge. Look at that. Look, he was trying not to correct, take a bit of left-hand lock to correct it. He wanted to stay on the track, but he had to stop the car rolling over. That was spectacular in the extreme.
The outside for turn 3. He's got his nose ahead, but he's on the wrong line. Goes for the undercut. Toyota just staves off the attack, or does it? Osborne up the curb, clashes into the side of the Toyota. Taylor Smith stays ahead.
Oh, this is a feisty race by Sam Osborne, but that's left him vulnerable. So we just see this, and the momentum that Jake has, and then he just doesn't know which way Halstead's going to go. He catches up to him. He isn't sure whether he's going to go to the inside or stay on the outside. Rainford, as you say, has to go around him as well. And it's just the slightest touch, and was in the pound seat to attack Ingram, and immediately Ingram had to be on the defensive, and then it's changed again.
This is the replay of Chilton and Rowbottom at the first couple of corners. Rowbottom off the racetrack, and they met again, and there was contact. Here it is from the outside. The danger in all of that, as they got fractious, was that they might have just tagged the back of Ingram.
Yeah, that's true, actually. They could have accidentally taken him out. If there'd been contact there, they spun across the inside. But, of course, Sutton knows that on medium tyre, he's got an advantage on lap 1.
And also, of course, Ingram is trying... Oh, drama in the background. We've got one of the WSR BMWs off. We've got Senna Proctor off. That looks like Sam Osborne off the road as well. It's either Rainford or Moffat. We'll check in a moment as the cars come into view. So, there's Sam Osborne trying to rejoin. Chilton's building a lead.
And coming off the corner, going back up the hill, it's all about to kick off. Someone was on the grass on the right. Through goes Aidan Moffat. And Proctor got on the grass, slammed into Moffat, and took an almost in avoiding action. I think Osborne went off.
I think you're right. Here we go again. Look, so there's a sideways Toyota, but Proctor goes off the road ahead. He comes across, and Osborne is a victim as well. But yeah, he drills Moffat, doesn't he?
Yeah, he drills Moffat, and sort of it was almost in synchronised symmetry that Osborne went off. Maybe made the same mistake, I'm not sure.
And Chilton, so Tom Ingram would quite like to hit the front if he can. And Chilton lets him go, and there's contact behind Sutton. Got turned round. That was Rowbottom, I think, that clipped the back of him, and Sutton all of a sudden gets embroiled with Chilton. Cars come flooding past, and Ash Sutton suddenly got sideways. It looked as though, as they all tried to assess the grip level, there was a tap in the back, and Sutton's come off worst.
Well, remember, Rowbottom was on the hard tyre. There's a bit of dampness on the track, and he just locked it up. So that was a real disaster, not what Sutton needed at all, and now they're outfing the gravel.
That's Sutton off again. He's taking Taylor Smith with him. All of a sudden, Ash Sutton's race that we thought he was a shoe-in to win, he's going from bad to worse. It's Dan Camish now. It's Ingram in the lead. Let's have a look then. This is the replay of the restart. The contact's already been made, but Sutton sideways, it was a good save, and it rather badly delayed Chilton as well. But then there was more to come for Ash at the foot of the hill.
It was a huge save. That car was almost going in backwards. Watch, Rowbottom locks up, tags the back, then there's another little tap out. In fact, Sutton caught the back of Chilton's car, or Ingram's car, sorry.
Aaron's still one of the great characters of the paddock, and he's having to defend from Charles Rainford, race winner at Brands early on in the year. Leader goes by. Camish to Morgan this time. He's still hovering around the second mark, and Rainford loses it coming out of Goddard, spins towards pit in, and Charles Rainford is going to be able to rejoin, but he will hemorrhage places.
Yeah, just getting on the gas a little bit too hard. People think these cars are easy to drive, but there's no traction control or ABS, and he was tightening his line and trying to get on the power at the same time, and around she went. I just got a little touch as well. He actually accelerated and just clipped the back of the car, which pushed the nose of the car in towards the pit lane.
Right-hander of the old hairpin, Aidan Moffat, by the way, is on his last warning for track limit, and Sutton is still desperately trying to gain another place and therefore more points, and around the outside he goes. And look at this, this is over at McLean's, the heavens have opened, and off the road goes Jake Hill. Off the road has gone Camish, off the road has gone De Leon, off the road has gone Ingram, off the road has gone Morgan. Camish gets it back on just in the nick of time, but there are cars everywhere, and it looks as though Gordon Shedden's up into second place, make that fourth in fairness. No, Morgan's round the outside. Safety car called. Safety car is called. The course now has to make a call on what to do in terms of carrying on with the race. Here's the replay. They come streaming up towards McLean's. Jake Hill just can't get the car to slow and to turn, but he's not the only one, because as the camera turns, look at everybody else going through the gravel. Massive moment there for Dan Lloyd behind him, and others are just trying to get themselves back towards the tarmac. Here it is from another angle. Well,
this is the leader, Camish, coming in. He was the first one, the crash test dummy, if you like, and followed off the road by Ingram, Morgan, and everybody else. A bit further back, everyone's had a bit more warning.
Yeah.
But look on board, look out the back, no rain. Get round the corners, the track is suddenly wet. You can see it on the lines on the track. Whoa! And they all did a fantastic job of actually saving it. Look, no one actually hit the barrier.
So that was Jake Hill going through the ground. Yellow flag a shake. Let's have a look in replay. Look at the top of the hill here. Nick Halstead with a big cloud of smoke and spins on his own liquid. And the car goes off the road. The barrier awaits. Bang.
I'm pretty sure that's oil, David, from the colour of it and the way it went. I'm pretty sure that's oil. Fortunately, he only makes very light contact with the tyres. Unfortunately, if it is oil, it's in a very restricted part. It hasn't been all the way down the craners and the old hairpin.
Post, the car of Nick Halstead needs to be moved. So that, I think, is the reason for the delay rather than the oil on the track. That's an earlier drama for Nick Halstead. That was coming into the S's, so it's been a busy race for him.
Wonder if he got some stones underneath the belts or something.
Maybe.
Or overheated the engine. That was locking the rears up. Same issue we saw slightly earlier on from, I think it was Josh Cook, wasn't it? When you have too much brake bias to the rear, especially...
And Ash Sutton is still only 12th.
In actual fact, De Leon went quicker on that last lap. Another 10 quicker. We've got a spin for Sutton.
That's Sutton at Copse then. So he's gone across the line, he's gone into Copse corner, and a very rare spin for Ash Sutton.
That's where he finally qualifies. Remember, he lost it very early. Yeah. In actual fact, the front tyres didn't really go across the high abrasion tarmac. They actually stayed on that clipping that inside curb. If you take too much, it just sends the car. We saw Ingram do it earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got away with that on his front tyres, and they're the crucial ones.
Put him top, and it does. Jake Hill goes quickest on a 62.4. That's 4/10 quicker than Proctor.
Yeah, nearly 4.47, so nearly half a second.
A big loose coming out of Copse. Around goes Jake Hill, and it's the same problem. Up on the wet curb, and he's gone around and around and off the circuit. Slides off at Copse on the inside, having had a real moment.
Which means yellow flag there temporarily for anybody coming through. But he's got going very quickly.
A replay of what happened on the previous lap at Luffield. Mikey Doble being given a bit of help by Chilton, and that put him into the back of Darrell De Leon, and Mikey Doble's car getting well and truly roughed up. This is on board with Camish.
Yeah, watching it unfold. A driver always looks further ahead. You don't look at the car in front, you look at what's going on in front of them.
He's just got to get ahead of Ingram. He's got to take any point away from Tom that he possibly can to help in the championship. And there is Nick Hamilton with a problem. Flame from underneath as well. I was about to tell you that the gap between the race leaders have come right down again to 3/10, so from a second.
He's pulled off, but this could necessitate a safety car if the marshals need to be on track. That's well and truly alike, that car.
It is.
And of course, Nick Hamilton, not the quickest to get out of the car, but he's out safely, I think. It just shows the power of that Toka Turbo boost, because he'll close that gap. Bad news for Dan Lloyd, probably bad news for Tom Ingram as well, because he would have been much happier if that gap had stayed open rather than close the whole pack up. That car is massively alike.
Yeah, it is, and unfortunately it's in a place where the marshals can't easily get to it. You can see Nick has stopped as best he can, as soon as he can, but now the fire truck is there, but it's been ablaze for a good 20-30 seconds, I fear, and that's not going to be seen again today, I would have feared, because not only is there an engine that's gone, there's all the bodywork damage, there's all the residual damage from the extinguishant, and still quite a bit of fuel on board, so the marshals very bravely attacked the fire, but we are under safety car here.
Fortunately, the wind is blowing the smoke away from the circuit, so it's not going to come across the circuit, but it's hard to put out, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Look, it's the extinguisher's hardly touching it initially. The fire is underneath the front bonnet, and look, that extinguisher's run out, and the fire is not tamed at all. It's very hard to get at the source of the fire.
And the longer it lasts, the more damage is being done. Let's have another look. So Nick Hamilton goes up towards Beckett's. He's aware perhaps of a problem, and there the flame starts to lick underneath the car.
And there was fluid coming out.
Yeah.
Can you see there's fluid coming out? So it's an oil fire, the worst type underneath there.
That's what I was saying about being fearful of liquid on the road. The message gets through to Nick. You need to stop.
So this is on board with Camish. Look further ahead, 2 cars up. And this is the spin for Chilton. He's obviously got a problem on the left rear. I think the puncture was already there. That caused him to spin. And then he drove straight into the pit lane.
He did indeed. There he gets all sideways. How that tyre went pop will be interesting to find out. It was a big, big lose.
Yeah.
And not even Captain Car Control can save that.
No, but probably from a little touch with somebody, and it's just punctured the tyre.
Start racing in order to secure that part of the championship. The leaders are coming up to the end of lap number 8 out of 22. And Chilton gets stuck into Rainford and knocks him sideways, and Chilton has done damage to the car and he's in the gravel, and that, after a peach of a move earlier on in the lap, ends up with a puncture and broken suspension, and Chilton is out, and this could be a safety car because he's stuck in the gravel.
Yeah, he's on the wide angle, goes for a little bit of the cutback, looks open at this point, but then Rainford takes his line, and that little touch, it doesn't take much, is enough to puncture and break the front suspension.
And the car ends up in the gravel. Here it is from a different angle. That's part 2 of the incident. The first contact already made. It was never going to steer, and off it goes across the gravel into the wall. And here it is from another angle. There is the first bit of contact. That's what does the damage. There's the second bump, but by that stage, Chilton was heading in one direction only.
Yeah, the first bump was what did the damage, wasn't it? But he then couldn't steer the car. So
Charles Rainford is away rapidly up against the pit wall as Sam Osborne leads by about 3 lengths into Copse, ahead of Mikey Doble. Look at the gap he's got as the field files through. 1 or 2 with their elbows out in the background, and there's a Napa Ford that has come to grief and goes wide. Was that Rowbottom? Was that Camish? Certainly one badly delayed as the cars head up towards Beckett's for the first time. Drama at Copse then.
yeah, but a good start by Sam Osborne as out onto the grass. As further damage there. I was going to say that's Dan Lloyd. So his weekend's unravelled quickly on this last race, but hats off to Sam Osborne. So this was into Beckett's. Aaron Taylor-Smith and Lloyd getting together on the exit just there. Looked like Aaron Taylor-Smith well into the back of Lloyd, wasn't it? Yeah. Absolutely speared him off. I think that'll be a conversation in the bus because... Right, so he's approaching Clearways now, down a gear, late turn in. Does he get an oversteer moment? Or does he run? Oh, he just got on the grass, didn't he? He was accelerating hard when it happened. That was a big moment. Lucky not to hit anything, especially the concrete wall on the inside. So everybody theoretically had to back out of their lap because he gets a wheel off of the exit of Chicane curve. Obviously the car goes all the way round, and then everyone following. Once that yellow flag is out, the marshal puts it out there. So theoretically, actually, Smythe...
He's going to have a run at Chilton up the hill as well in the BMW. Sutton accelerates up the hill in pursuit of Rowbottom. On the outside line is Rainford for Druids, and it's going to be Chilton. Has a big, big slide there, sends Adam Morgan out wide, and he tumbles down the field, having been on the podium in race.
Rainford is concentrating on the Jack Sears Trophy.
And a big moment, and that is Rainford off the road and into the barriers, and oh so nearly up onto 2 wheels. Charles Rainford's race is run. That changes the focus in the Jack Sears Trophy, and that will change the focus in race control as well, because we may now need to neutralise the race to move that car. Good news is he's got one of his teammates then looking after him, as it were, protecting him in second place. Charles Rainford is okay, he's out of the car. Now let's have a look from this angle. There's the BMW look on the inside, comes up towards paddock, tap in the back, and then another tap. So there was definite contact twice. That's what did it.
Yes, it was a double assist, wasn't it? I think... yeah, I think possibly having seen him lose places, Shedden was anxious to get past, because when you see another car...
When the cars came over the line, and Adam Morgan there, look, he's trying to squeeze his way up the inside of Moffat, and drama at Druids. That's Taylor-Smith off the road and into the gravel, and this will be another interruption.
Yeah, definitely another safety car following that as they came together on the run up to Druid's, a clash of lines.
So Aaron out of the car, and he's okay. Let's have another look. This is earlier on in the previous lap. Josh Cook nibbling at the back of Aaron Taylor-Smith and making the car a bit lighter.
So there was already a little bit of contact there. And then going up to Cook goes for the inside. Aaron Smith moves over, but isn't clear of the front of the car. And there's a touch.
Would be interesting to be a fly on the wall in the debrief at Toyota Gazoo Racing UK after that. Quite a hit into the wall, thankfully not on the driver's side for Aaron Taylor-Smith, but not much speed scrubbed off before it got to the gravel and into the barrier there.
Yeah, not what you want to see across teammates, is it? But, you know, it may be that Aaron was a little bit riled by that tap from Cook earlier when he lost that rear bumper.
As we stand in the independents, Chris Smiley would be up to second at the expense of Mikey Doble, and contact between Camish and Rowbottom. Camish spins, he's going to just about avoid the gravel, but he's got broken suspension, and that's Camish out of the race, out of the fight for third in the championship. Contact between him and his teammates as Josh Cook now gets up the inside of Aidan Moffat for the race lead.
We're coming into Paddock Hill Bend. Rowbottom is ahead. Camish takes a bit of curb on the inside. It looks like Rowbottom had a bit of a moment. I'm not even sure he quite knew that Camish was there. He was having a moment himself, wasn't he, through the corner, and then maybe didn't realise Camish had taken advantage of that and moved over. It just looks like he slams the door closed, doesn't it?
Yeah, you might well be right. He may well have been unaware that Camish had made that move, but you can hear the groan from the team's garage from up here.
I mean, he should have been, because he went into paddock defending, and he would have known he was defending from Camish, so he should have had the awareness to know that he was there.
This will tell us, I think, how Charles Rainford got in touch with the Cones hotline. He was squabbling, as you can see, with Nick Halstead, who flicks the cone, and you could not have done that in a movie.
I'll tell you what, Luke Littler would have been happy with that one, wouldn't he?
What a shot, what a throw.